A prince, a madam, and Jeffrey Epstein. Plus, who is Rachel Chandler? Hi, I'm Craig, and welcome to Just Informed Talk. For those of you who don't know, I always start each one of these episodes out by saying thank you to each and every one of my subscribers. You guys are what make this channel work. Without you, it would not be possible. So thank you so much to everybody who is joining us here now. If you have not hit the subscribe button yet, please come here to this landing page. Click the big red subscribe button. Make sure you hit the bell for notifications. That way, you'll be notified as soon as these videos are posted, because as soon as information is made available to me, I make it available to you. Now, getting into the Q post, what we're going to do is we have some new Q posts to get into, but we're going to go back and talk about some things that we need to clarify and make very clear here on what is going on in these last few posts with Q. And this Rachel Chandler, there is so much there. It's really disturbing, and I just want you guys to bear with me through this as we cover this information. It's tough to talk about some of these things, but they need to be they need to have a light shine onto them, because they are where the darkness is most pervasive. Now, what we're going to talk about first is the GM. So an AN0N posts here this picture, and this we already went over this before, but this picture, and he is GM. So who is GM? Well, GM stands for Ghislaine Maxwell. Now, who is Ghislaine Maxwell? She is the alleged madam who worked for Jeffrey Epstein on his island. And why is this important? Well, she's kind of one of the people that we're going to talk about in relation to what Q's pointing out here. But where is this picture from, more importantly? I couldn't identify this individual off of the bat when we first started, so I left it to you guys to kind of help me out and point me in the right direction. Of course, you guys came through again, and we figured out who it is. So it's Prince Andrew. Now, here's an article out of the Daily Mail talking about how this article actually lays out that Jeffrey Epstein had Prince Andrew with a sex slave, and this girl's name is Virginia Roberts. She accused Prince Andrew of meeting with her and allegedly having a sexual encounter with her. So obviously this is something that's really pertinent to what we're talking about here, and this is Q basically pointing to this and saying, look up Ray Chandler, none are safe, Q. So who is Ray Chandler? Well, Ray Chandler is the shorthand of this person, Rachel Chandler. And here's a look at her Instagram. We went over this in the last video. There's actually some really disturbing stuff on here, and I've gone through it, and I had to go through it just to make sure and see what we're dealing with here, and it's just disturbing. You guys take my word for it, but there's a lot of people who are jumping on these boards and actually talking to these people and telling them that some of these pictures are really inappropriate. And Q told us to alert the FBI. Here's one that stood out to me, and this one's got gotten a lot of responses. And it's like on a written note here. It's got some weird doodle with the words that say molested no, but I think molested's misspelled. And you can see the Q, they are just lighting this up, and they're lighting the whole account up right now. So good job, all you out there who are pointing out the evil, so that we may be able to transcend it. But who is Rachel Chandler? Well, she became famous, I believe, from this photo here, which is her on the Lolita Express with Bill Clinton, or infamous, depending on how you look at it. But where did she go from there? Well, all signs would point to the fact that she's become a pretty powerful madam herself, and has been working to put some really disturbing stuff up. If you just scroll through her Instagram account, I'm sure it's going to get pulled soon. I'm sure it's going to be made private or something very soon here, because I almost had experiences earlier where I couldn't see stuff, but people are already screenshotting this. I screenshotted some stuff that I thought was disturbing, but I didn't even screenshot the stuff that I thought was really disturbing, because I thought that was just disgusting, and you know, I've already seen it in many of the boards being talked about. So it's already up there, and people know about this account, and they're going through it, and they're doing whatever they can to document what's going on here. But just some really disturbing stuff that I'm just so thankful that I have a strong relationship with God and I can look at this and just understand it's pure evil. Um, so please, just if you're out there, you don't need to come look at this, but it's here and it exists for now, and we do need to document it. But I believe, after looking at all the information that I've seen, that the FBI has been notified and that these people will be under investigation soon if they haven't already been under investigation previous to this. So Rachel Chandler seems like a nice person. I'm sure she's just another pawn in this game where she's been brainwashed to do things. And that's my opinion. That's all alleged. None of it's been factually verified. But I can tell you that that's the opinion that I am of. Now, but you see Q says Epstein's plane. Who is she? Follow friends. Friends lead to others. Open source. I mean, obviously right here you have a picture of her with Bill Clinton. So, I mean, how much more proof do you really need? Now, it talks about Eminem too. And we kind of went through this before, but I didn't realize that this was Rachel Chandler with Eminem. And it's even saying here in the post, like if you look at the picture, she's even saying, is it at 17 or is she 16? She doesn't know if she's 16 or 17 when she's there with Eminem. Now, there's nothing that we know of that could have happened there. I'm not making any insinuations. I'm just reporting this as it's being made available to me. But what's really important is that what Q says here, report this to the FBI, report to the Department of Justice, watch what happens, the spotlight, subject deviation, risk, and Q. Hopefully it's the end of Rachel Chandler and what she's been allegedly, what she's being allegedly accused of doing, as in like child sex trafficking, these kind of things. They're not light charges, so we don't want to just throw them around loosely. And if you do look through her Instagram, there's some really disturbing things, but we can't even make any insinuation until we get more facts. And right now we just don't have the facts. But you guys can put together dots in your head. I don't need to do that for you. So this is what we're dealing with here. And it's just it's of epic proportion. You know, she's a model. She's in these weird campaigns now with others. So we have to keep an eye on that. Let's just go into the newest Q post, because that's more important than going back. For now, we need to get this up and get it documented. But I wanted to make that correction so that you guys know that I'm on the same page with you. I could feature some comments, but I mean, there's so many, dozens and dozens that have pointed this out. I want to thank each and every one of you. If I could go through every single one and write back, I would, but that would take a very long time. So we're going to jump right into the next post by Q, and it's an AN0N who posts here. This was the last post that we went over, by the way, where Q, or an AN0N post that points out that the West Coast FBI office is still open. And I actually know for a fact, after reviewing a lot of the boards, that people have been calling the FBI and reporting Rachel Chandler's Instagram and the implication being made by Q, which I think is very important, because where we go one, we go all. And our job is to shine light where there is darkness and evil. So obviously, if that's the evil that exists, then we have to shine a light on it, which is a part of what this channel is for. The channel is here to inform you, and I'm going to do my best to keep you informed and bring the information and news and what's going on and how it all connects together and give you my analysis. But the more important thing that we're doing here is we're establishing an initiative, a collective, if you will, of people who can come here and look at the information and make logical and thoughtful, insightful interpretations of what Q is giving us, so that we, the people, can expose evil and what's going on here. Obviously, Q's given us that opportunity, and I know a lot of patriots out there have taken that as a serious call to action. They have done their duty. Just as I get on here and make these videos, it really gets me going to see you guys in the comments reply and tell me how you guys are affecting change in your own way, which is really important because we all have to have a stake in this because it is our future that we are fighting for after all. Now, what this is talking about is and I'm sorry for the extended break, and we could watch this video really quick about Chandler and how, but I don't even think it's really worth it, to be quite frank. This woman, it's one of the only interviews I could find. It's on YouTube, and she's talking about how she's a photographer and she only does, she like proudly states in this that she only works, the only American company that she's worked for is American Vogue and this other thing called Purple Magazine. But if you look at their publications that they put out, there's even links on their site to this thing called uh, Marfa Journal, and it's weird. I'm not even going to feature any of that on this content on this channel because I don't want to give them any unnecessary publicity. But let me just give you guys my take. It's all weird, it's all sexualized, and it's completely inappropriate for most people. So I'll just leave it at that. If you guys want to go check it out, you are more than welcome to. You can dig a little deeper on Rachel Chandler, and all this stuff's open source and very easy to find. But going back to what we're going to talk about here with what's breaking now, it's breaking 911. It's an account on Twitter where you actually have, it says President Trump signs memorandum ending catch and release immigration policy. Now, thank the Lord that that happened, because this is a really important step in the right direction for what we need to do at the border, which is to secure our border. We have to get rid of the catch and release policy. It's probably the most detrimental policy being enacted on the border right now as far as keeping illegals out of the country, because the premise being that if we catch illegals at the border, even if they're on the other side or just crossed like right into our border and it's obvious, our whole our whole judicial system has to, and our law enforcement system has to look at these people and say, all right, here's a ticket, bye bye, I'll see you in court in what, 2 months or 3 months. They never show up to court, and then they blend into the population. All of a sudden you have millions of people coming into our country, and it's being sanctioned by the federal government. And ladies and gentlemen, this is a real policy that exists. So obviously, to get rid of it is a good step in the right direction. President Trump's doing a good thing here, which I think is something we should fully support. It needed to be done. So that's what Q meant when he said, watch the news. Obviously, this was a post from earlier, April 4th, so about 2 or 3 days ago. It says, POTUS will be up all night, pray, watch the news tomorrow. That's the reference that Q is making back to what we are seeing today. So next, we're going to talk about, this is the next one, where an AN0N post, Q, was the pedo drop narrative in recent bread distraction or planned? Q responds, not planned but necessary. So what that means, for those of you who don't know what the bread and crumbs and all that stuff is talking about, bread is something that's just information. It's what's available on the boards. It's the info that we get. It's what we gather. It's what we bring to each other, so we can basically, I guess you would say, like break bread with one another. How we share information so that we can figure out more stuff. It's like you imagine the comment thread on this video as being a place where people bring bread, so they bring their thoughts and their information, and then we kind of decipher what it is. Now, a lot of people want to make the weird analogy. They say it's kind of wrong that, crumbs don't make bread. Well, of course, but what this is he's giving us crumbs so that we can put together what kind of bread it was, if that makes sense. I hate to be so weird and cryptic, but that's the terminology that gets used in a lot of the places where you find this information. So it's important to note that. Now, Q's pointing out here, though, that it wasn't planned. Like, he did not plan to talk about Rachel Chandler or what all that was about until an AN0N posted some information on the board that he thought would be very helpful to whatever narrative he's trying to display. The narrative I think he's pointing at is exactly what he follows up the post with. And it takes us to this article where it talks about Roseanne and her tweet of support of Trump conspiracy theory. Now, we're going to read through this, and I know it's a CNN article, but it's really important because Q pointed this out to us. Now, this is from March 31st. Okay, we're about 7 days removed from that now, 6 or 7, depending on where you are. So, if you think about what we're going to talk about in this article, and what Q's actually doing right now, it's almost incredible how he's completely verifying the fact that Roseanne tweeted this out, but then he's verifying the fact that CNN and all these people said it's fake and it's conspiracy, and now he's going to give us the truth about what's going on in order to basically show these people that this is not a game and that we are real, we are reporting the truth. So let's read through it really quickly. There's not much here because CNN, pretty simple-minded stuff. It says actress Roseanne Barr threw Twitter off the rails late Friday after she retweeted her support of a right-wing conspiracy theory. Quote, President Trump has freed so many children held in bondage to pimps all over this world, hundreds each month. He has broken up trafficking rings in high places everywhere. Notice that I disagree on some things, but give him benefit of the doubt for now, she tweeted. and I mean, who wouldn't think that that's a fairly reasonable way to respond to what's going on here? Now, CNN goes on to say the theory, known as the storm, quote unquote, is believed to have started after Trump critically remarked during a photo op with military leaders and their spouses before a White House dinner last October that reporters were seeing the calm before the storm, quote unquote. White House Press Secretary Sarah Sanders declined to elaborate the next day on what the president meant, but it goes on to say that Trump's breaking up high-level sex trafficking rings, and that's all being alleged, right? If you listen, it says, the storm alleges that high-profile Democrats and other famous people are involved in child sex trafficking rings and that Trump is breaking them up and arresting those involved in the operation. The theory has been traced to the online message board 4chan, where an anonymous user known as AN0N, or simply Q, has propagated the theory. Twitter users concerned about Barr's involvement, Roseanne, in such theories quickly pointed to past tweets by her that would further explain her involvement in the theory, where Barr tweeted, "Who is Q?" The Daily Beast reported. The actress added hours later, "Tell QAnon to DM me in the next 24 hours. Okay? Obviously, we're dealing with something really, really, really serious here with what Q's getting into. So this is really happening, and we need to pay attention. And it just goes to prove that Q is actually saying, look, this is important because this is gaining traction. Roseanne's popular. There's a lot of eyes on her, and she's positively talking about Q. Let's go ahead and ride that wave and get as much support as we can behind that by pointing to these people who exist right beneath our eyes here. Like the wool's been pulled over our eyes because we can't see it. But now we are being shown what is actually happening. Now, the next Q post we're going to talk about here, it was Q responding to an AN0N. In the AN0N post, Q, is pic related, real or fake? And the pic is actually of this right here. And I'll blow this up for you guys, but it says, where is CC right now? What does he hope to accomplish there? Would they be willing to help him? Why? What does War North create? It doesn't matter what this says. It's basically an AN0N saying, is this you posting, right? Q responds, fake. Q. Yes, it is fake, and it shows you exactly what's happening. Okay, they're trying to infiltrate and copy and replicate Q, and basically they're making a very bad attempt at it. Obviously, whoever was behind that, but you got to understand that we're in this war where people are going to be misdirected, and we have to understand that this kind of stuff needs to be shown for fake and for what it is immediately. So I'm very glad that Q pointed that out quickly and nipped it in the bud before it became some unverified craziness. Now, the next one is very important. Spread out by design. MSNBC next at Jack. No pedogate, quote unquote, or Pizzagate, whatever you want to call it, bot push post, Rachel Chandler. Saving for Monday. Are you? Waiting. Open the door. At Snowden. Close to door. Q. A lot of people have had a lot of great takes on what this means, but my take's pretty simple on it. What we're doing here is very, very four-dimensional chess, five-dimensional chess, however you want to look at it. There's so many layers, and there's so much forethought into what move happens when, that this is giving Jack an option. Now, if he's out there listening, which I'm sure he is because he's always watching all the stuff that's going on, he's probably just tweeting right now, but let's just be honest. Okay, you only have a couple options, Jack, and they're getting narrower and narrower by the day, or more narrow. So you need to understand that this is not a game. And if you're treating it like one, we're going to make sure you lose. Okay, so the connection to at Snowden here, I am going to go ahead and go out on a crazy limb here. I hope I don't offend too many of my loyal people down there who want to comment, but please debate me on this. I would love to hear your take if you think otherwise. But I've figured out Snowden's role, I believe, in my opinion. Snowden has been a part of this since 2013, or before that, when he released all this information. I know a lot of people want to look at him as a traitor, and personally, I look at him as a traitor for releasing that information. But we have to understand the deep state works in this way, that you take the people that you want to use and you work them in however you need them. So if there was an operation, let's say, perchance, that happened to exist, where you're actually putting somebody in a position to be able to disseminate information with the long-term goal being to expose the deep state's corrupt practices, it's the sacrificial pawn, which is why we talk about a lot of chess when it comes to Assange and Snowden. Unfortunately for Snowden, he was the sacrificial pawn, and he was allowed to leak what he did for a very good purpose. And now we've given him an option to come back, and hopefully he's come back to his senses and is rejoining the government that has given him everything, and he has basically turned his back on for the actions of few, when the government is actually supposedly ran by the many. Now, beyond the philosophical talk about Snowden and what's going on there, let's look at what is being said exactly in this post. Now, Jack is going to be pushing bots on Pedogate and Rachel Chandler, but he's waiting, is what is being said here, is that he understands the weekend people are usually out doing stuff. There's not going to get a lot of traction. So he's going to wait for the Rachel Chandler, or maybe he was waiting, and it's all part of this big game that they're going to play, where they're going to call us conspiracy. Because a lot of what's been being said here on the Q boards and other Q research boards, and in the comments by you guys that make this channel possible, is that this is all a ploy to distract from what's actually going on. So imagine this, right? We have this whole controversy coming up with Rachel Chandler, and it kind of comes out of nowhere. Q just throws it up there, right? But was it already going to come out, though, that they were going to try to create false narratives and like you would say, straw men for this? It's been suggested that part of Twitter's new push was to basically subvert the factual nature of Q, or even the validity of Q, I guess you would say, by putting out fake conspiratorial news through their Twitter stream that could be easily debunked, but then tied in with some truths that are connected to Q. That way, the whole QAnon collective and what we are researching, what we're unveiling, and the information that's being given to the American people is immediately labeled as unreliable, misinformation, fake news, if you will, conspiracy theory. That's the one they love to use. Is that the case? Was he saving that for Monday? Did we ruin it all because an AN0N happened to post something about Rachel Chandler that Q said, yes, this is going to mess up their whole thing? Or he says it's not planned. Was it actually planned? I mean, those kind of things really do cross your mind when you research this in depth. So I want to hear what you guys have to think. So let me know if you have better explanations, which I'm sure you have completely great and thoughtful, insightful takes on what this is in detail, as I have chopped up trying to explain it, but trying to get this information out as it comes to me. So going into the next post, here we go. We have a lot being put up here, and Q's even posting as we are here making these videos. So the information is really fresh, you guys. Don't doubt that. I kind of do this on the fly, but I do my research. I spend hours and hours every day reading through comments, reading through information, articles, so I am able to analyze this information on the fly. So we're going to jump right into the next one. Now, what the next one is talking about is how Lester Holt has announced that there will be an interview between him and Loretta Lynch where they'll discuss James Comey and the airplane meeting with President Bill Clinton, the tarmac, infamous tarmac meeting. And the AN0N here post sounds like someone wants to get ahead of a potential bombshell story, and Q just points to them. And what does he specifically point to? Well, he points to, first you have that, and then he points to this. The other post that Q put from back in the 2nd of April, so around 4 days ago or so, right? 4 or 5 days. Now that post says April 8, Inspector General report, Sessions public attack, Rod Rosenstein problems, seals broken, arrests. Why was Huber made public? Why now? Everything has meaning. AN0N, tarmac, Iran, North Korea, Uranium One, FBI, DOJ, Mueller, election integrity, immigration bill, border wall, military start, big month. Q. So there's going to be a lot here, and he's kind of hinting at it. Hey, this is what we're breaking. This is the information that we're literally giving you guys on the fly as we go here, and this is going to be something to look for. Now, I don't need to go into this too deeply, other than to say it's pretty obvious what we're dealing with here. I actually tweeted here, and we can look at it while I'm pulling this up about this, right? If you guys want to check out my Twitter, it's @Justin_formed. But I just wrote here kind of in response to that. It only took 2 years, countless pieces of evidence in the QAnon 8chan to finally get you guys to address this issue. Can't wait to hear your quote-unquote honest account, he said sarcastically. So obviously I'm being sarcastic there, and what this is going to be is who knows what. We're going to have to see what kind of, in my opinion, story they come up with. I'm not even going to get into what kind of story it's going to be. But as we were talking here, we have Q posting this. Now, he's posting a link to one of the pictures, right? And we're going to have to actually look at this, but let me just go ahead and pull it up. So hold on one second. So now as we speak, every time I try to pull it up, it keeps saying this. Sorry, this page isn't available. Good thing I still have in my active browser the full extent of every one of their pictures here on the Instagram. I actually have the whole thing, and it hasn't been pulled because it's still in my memory, still saved here, where we have all this weird stuff. And let's just put it this way. None of it here is really that favorable or nice, but I think what Q's getting at is that there's some picture on here and all of these sick pictures on this person's account that we can point to and say it's the island night 3Q. So is he saying that there's a picture of her on maybe Epstein's island And, Q's been up, or I think, excuse my slip there, Trump has been up for 3 nights now dealing with this. I think we're in an active battle with these people, and we've even talked about the possibility of underground facilities being taken out, which would explain certain things, as we will talk about later in this. But getting into what I think is really, really important here, Q goes on to say, connection made. Rachel Chandler end. We have grounds reverting. Thank you, Q. So that means that everything that we've done, guys, all this effort on the QAnon side, what we got into, what we went through with exposing this Rachel Chandler and everything, and reporting her to the FBI and letting them know that this exists and they need to investigate it, that went a very long way. So God bless each and every one of you who came on here and did that, for reporting it. And that's just a really great thing. And the last post that Q puts up is China, Chongqing, Tuesday, Q. So he's pointing to something that's going to be happening in China on Tuesday. And with all of the stuff that we have going on between our country and China, I would not be surprised if we see some pretty impressive news break on Tuesday of next week, but we'll have to wait and see what that is. If you guys have any idea what the China Chongqing Tuesday Q post is referencing, please let me know in the comments. We're going to actually look at something as well here as we go back through what we're talking about in the posts here, and look at something that I thought was very important. It's a article I found by the Daily Beast, and it's from 2013. It's called Inside the Q Group, the Directorate Hunting Down Edward Snowden. And I thought it was very important to mention this article as we look at what's going on with the Q initiative and how they are basically being the ones that we're following now, to understand that it's been in the NSA for quite some time. And the Q idea is not a new idea. That kind of is what has led me to believe that Snowden was let out. And I'm sorry if I didn't cover that fully earlier. But this was a part of a plan that's been going on for quite some time, ladies and gentlemen, I believe. So you guys be the judge of that. And another couple of things we're going to get into. There was a big earthquake just recently right near Little St. James, Epstein Island. Now, if you look at the map, Epstein Island, the Little St. James is, I think, right about here. That's the island. So these earthquakes are a little offset from where it was. So I'm not sure if it was necessarily something that hit that exactly. But obviously it's being pointed to as an interesting event, an event of note that we should be looking at. Now, that's going to be it for this episode. I want to thank each and every one of you who has joined us. And thank you to each and every one of my subscribers. If you're looking for a way to contribute and help the channel, please, if you have not hit the subscribe button, please come here to this landing page, hit the big red subscribe button, make sure you hit the bell for notifications. That way you'll be notified as soon as these videos get posted. That's the easiest way you can help, and it's free to you, and it helps me out big time. So please come here and hit that button if you have not hit it already. And the second way you can contribute is each one of these QAnon videos that I put up is basically a QAnon research board in the comments section. So come here, leave your thoughts, get together. I mean, guys, please, you'll see there's so much thoughtful, insightful, great theories and speculative thought that we can go through and kind of hatch out what is Q meaning by each one of these posts. Things that if you think I'm right or if you think I'm wrong, or if you want to give a word of inspiration, you want to give us a Bible verse, whatever it may be, please come here and leave your thoughts. Like I said, we have tens of thousands of comments, and it's incredible. So just come here, let me know what you think. I spend most of my time reading through these comments, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on some of the things that we've talked about here tonight, especially some of the things that I've asked you guys to kind of brainstorm on so we can figure out exactly what they are. That's the second best way, but if you're actually looking for another way to help the channel, please come here to Patreon. That's Patreon.com/AN0N. AN0N.com, and you can search Just Informed Talk. And when you come here to this landing page, go ahead and click that big red button to become a patron. You can come check out my goal and my rewards. You can earn a chance to have an email correspondence. You can earn a chance to become a featured Patreon patron, which means I will feature your name at the end of one of these episodes of Just Informed Talk. And also, you can come down here and check out this great shirt. It's a limited edition shirt. There's only a few left. I've had a lot of people come in and get in on it, but there's only a couple left. If you want it, you'll have to come check it out for yourself. There's only 10 to be had. It's a limited edition, Just Informed Talk on the front, and it says, "Is Trump QAnon" on the back t-shirt. So if you guys want to pick that up, that'd be cool. I have those available still. But thank you in advance to everybody who comes here to Patreon to help me out. I need all the help I can get. If you guys want me to keep being able to make this content and present it to you on a daily basis, multiple times a day, and keep you up to date on everything that's going on and give you my take and my analysis, please come here and support the channel. I thank you all in advance, and thank you to each and every one of you who are a patron already. You guys are completely what make this channel possible. It's you and the subscribers, but even more overly, I'm not even going to say which. You guys are both amazing. You guys are both what make this channel possible. Now, in closing, what we're going to do is we're going to take a second to talk about the most important thing there is, and that is God. And why is he the most important? Well, I'm going to read you Psalm 134 really quickly. It's a very short one, and I think it's very pertinent to what we're talking about here tonight as we go through all of this information with Q and you here. Psalm 134. Now praise the Lord, all you servants of the Lord who stand in the Lord's house at night. Lift up your hands in the holy place and praise the Lord. May the Lord, maker of heaven and earth, bless you from Zion. And I think that's just the message I want to give. That's the message I want to put out there. I want each and every one of you to know that the Lord loves you, and the Lord will make his blessing upon you as long as you open your heart to him. The one thing that we're missing today is true faith in God. I think that's the one part of the equation that's usually missing for most people. So I want each and every one of you who have doubt in your heart, who have anxiety, who have depression, who have problems at work or problems at home or problems with your loved ones, however that may be coming to you, to seek the Lord. I mean, you guys got to believe me. The blessings come like a tidal wave when you open your heart to the Lord and make yourself his servant, and you dedicate yourself to just being a good person and following and loving the Lord. It's fairly simple, but a lot of people, it just skims right over them, because I think we have a big problem with the way that the media and the internet and technology and everything, how it brainwashes people. I mean, it's not in the classical sense of brainwashing as much as it is disallowing you to see the beauty of the universe through the lens of extreme devotion to the Lord. I mean, and it's not extremist, but it's extreme, because you have to just dedicate yourself to God and put him first and foremost and see that all the blessings come. If you put his name on high, you praise him all the time, you spread his love and his kindness to each and every person that you come across, you will see what will come back to you will be tenfold. And not only that, the Lord will bless you, and then you'll have a chance at eternal life with God in heaven, because Jesus did die on the sins for die on the cross for our sins. So we have to look at that always, and we have to put that first and foremost in our lives. So I want you guys, if you don't take anything away from this Q episode, no matter what you believe or how you think, please just take away that God loves you and that he's only a prayer away from opening your heart to the incredible glory that is his grace. So thank you all for watching. If you haven't yet, make sure if you have not hit the subscribe button, to come here to the landing page and click the big red subscribe button. Make sure you hit the bell for notifications. That way you'll be notified as soon as these videos get posted. But that's going to be it for me tonight. I want to thank you all for watching. I'm Craig. This is Just Informed Talk. God bless and Godspeed, Patriots.